I know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
This morning, I want to talk about change. Now, we all have heard the phrase, the saying that has almost become cliche because it's based in truth, is that all the growth in life, all the growth and great things that can happen to us in life happen outside of our comfort zones. We've all heard that before, right? And we all also know that in order for things to change in life, we have to make some changes. And we've all heard that. And we also know that the more that we want to improve ourselves in life, the more change we're going to have to go through, the further outside of our comfort zones we are required to get. Because if we just stay in our comfort zones, then nothing's going to change. We all know these things. We've all heard them. We probably even say them and post them on Instagram all the time. And here's the thing. Here's the paradoxical thing about those statements that everybody knows, is that once the change actually starts happening, even though we know this is what it is, once the change actually starts happening, once we get pushed out of our comfort zone, we're actually out of the comfort zone, and things do start changing, what immediately happens is we get an immediate mental, if not emotional, mental and emotional, sometimes emotional, if not a physical, literal pushback from within ourselves because of it. Because as soon as we start making those changes and getting out of that comfort zone, immediately our mind is thinking, our emotions are thinking, wait, everything is happening too quickly here. I don't want to be pushed into making a decision right now. There's too many things changing at the exact same time. I didn't know the change was going to be like this. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. So we get this immediate pushback that we're thinking logically, and often that logical thought comes from what we're feeling inside of us. It's coming from our emotions. Our emotions are saying, wait, we're going way too far out of our normal jurisdiction right now. Why don't we slow down and make things a little bit more how they have been for the last 5 weeks, or the way they have been for the last 5 years. Let's kind of keep it like that for a little bit. I feel like this is happening a little bit too quickly. Have any of you ever experienced that before? I know you have. And the reason I'm talking about this in the stream is because you need to, when this pushback happens, it's going to require something from you. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. It's going to require something from you that's going to be a challenge to do, but if you're able to do it, you'll be able to embrace change. You'll be able to embrace moving out of your comfort zone. A lot more change and a lot more movement further and further out of your comfort zone when you start to get this pushback, this emotional pushback, because it's always going to happen. This is what you have to do. You have to understand it. First of all, identify it when it happens. Secondly, logically, you have to mentally, consciously, that's up here in the brain, not in the emotions, but logically remind yourself, this is what you needed. I needed to make this change because I need to do this, this, and this. I needed to get out of my comfort zone, further out of my comfort zone, because whatever the reason is that you're actually doing it. You have to remind yourself why you're actually making this change. Remind yourself why you're getting out of your comfort zone. Remind yourself why this is necessary. And it might not necessarily be something that you chose, but it might be something that you got to deal with for whatever reason. But know that, and even if it's something that you didn't want, this is important too, because sometimes you get pushed out of your comfort zone or get pushed out of your normal routines of life, or you go through sweeping changes in life based on something that you didn't even want. It wasn't your plan. If you had a say, it wouldn't even be happening. Or maybe you did have a say and it's still happening. Whatever that happens to be. But if you know that the change is inevitable, if you know that this push out of your comfort zone is inevitable, meaning it's going to happen whether you embrace it or not, whether you go with it or not, it's still happening. You need to consciously remind yourself, okay, this is the situation. This is what's changing. This is why it's changing. This is where it's going to be. And you have to consciously still yourself. And this is a challenge. The reason I say this is a challenge is because we all know that emotion is stronger than logic. So you can know logically that it doesn't make sense to eat a whole bag of chips or a whole pint of ice cream, but emotionally it feels so good that we might do it anyway. So we all know, and we all know logically it doesn't make sense to get out of our cars and get in a fist fight with the driver next to us who cut us off on the road in traffic. We know logically it doesn't make sense. It won't get us anywhere. It's stupid and it's a waste of time. But emotionally, that emotion of anger or frustration gets the better of us, which often it can, we do something that logically we know doesn't make sense. When we got time to think about it, doesn't make sense. So understand that your logic has to overpower your emotions in this situation. And that's a challenge. That's hard for any human being to do, to overpower their emotion with logic. So you have to remind yourself when these changes happen, when you get pushed out of your comfort zone, when it starts to get uncomfortable, because it will get uncomfortable when you're going through any type of change. Anything that takes you out of your normal routine is going to be uncomfortable. You have to logically remind yourself why, what, when, where, how, and who it's happening, because your emotions are going to be like screaming at you. And if you don't get a hold of them, you don't get control of them and start communicating with your emotions are going to get the better of you. And even as you go through the change, you're not going to enjoy it. You can at least enjoy the change. You can at least embrace the change, since it's going to happen anyway, by making sure your logical mind is in step with what's going on. If I could take any questions, I take questions. I saw some comments. I don't know if those were questions. My name's Dre All Day, for those just checking in while I started talking. Professional athlete, professional speaker, author, entrepreneur, coach, consultant. Done a couple TED Talks, done a few thousand YouTube videos, a few thousand blog posts, a couple hundred Periscope streams. I'm on Snapchat at Dre Baldwin, Instagram, same name, at Dre Baldwin, first name, last name, Dre Baldwin. My Twitter's at Dre All Day. My website is called DreAllDay.com. There you can find my books, you can find my links to everything else. How do I go about getting over bad games and setbacks? Same way that I just said. And watch some of my other streams. I've done a whole bunch of streams talking about these topics. And watch my YouTube channel, matter of fact. Go to youtube.com, put my name in, watch my videos on those topics. I got 500 videos on mindset on YouTube. Probably 600. Blog posts on my website, DreAllDay.com. You see me on YouTube? Yes, I am heavy on YouTube. I got 5,000 things on YouTube. If you go to DreAllDay.com, there's a link at the top that says blog. Click on that, you'll see blog posts. Can't miss it. And my Snapchat's at Dre Baldwin. So if y'all want to hear more, sometimes I think of something off the cuff, I'll do it on Snapchat. You used to watch me on YouTube, that's what's up. Hooping, that's what's up. Well, I appreciate you. I have a question about Motor Club of America. Is it legit? What's your definition of legit? I know some people who did Motor Club of America. MCA is what they called it. Well, I appreciate you appreciating the videos. Tell me what's your definition of the word legit. Some people always ask me stuff like that. Not even about businesses. Somebody be like, yo, I'm going to go to this camp. Is it legit? And I'm like, what do you mean by the word legit? And often they can't even define the word. So they're using the word they can't define. Therefore, they can't get the answer they're looking for. What's up, France? How are you doing? This person asked me about Motor Club of America. I'm waiting for your definition of legit so I can kind of help you figure out if it is legit. Like, is it real? Can I make money off of it? Well, number one, I don't know if you can make money off of it because I've never done it. Number two, I mean, what do you mean by is it real? I mean, is as real as the fact that you're talking about it? What do you mean by that? Is it real? You got to be a little bit more specific. Hey, good morning to you too. You watch my vids and you used to use those moves in the games. That's what's up. Shout out to everybody who's watched me on YouTube and used it to improve their basketball skills. That's the point of it. So as far as that question, and anybody's question, anytime that you are questioning whether you're going to do something or if something is real or something is legit, make sure you use things that you first of all, you got to be able to clearly define what you mean by these things. So sometimes people say stuff like, is it legit? Is it real? Can I make money? Listen, you can make money doing anything. Question is, will you make money is the better question. It's not can you make money. I mean, if you've seen somebody there and they made some money, then obviously, yes, you can make money. The question is, will you make money? Are you going to do what is asked of you, whatever it happens to be in that business, to make the money? Somebody came to me and said, yo, is this professional overseas camp legit? Well, I said, what does legit mean? He said, well, it means not a scam. I said, well, what does a scam mean? He couldn't really define it. He's just using all these terms that he couldn't even define that he heard from other people. The bottom line is, listen, if anybody's ever done it and they got success, then yes, you can be successful. That's all you need to know. The fact that the real question is not, is it real? Is it legit? Is it a scam? Can I make money? No, none of those are the actual real question. The question is, will you? Will you get anything out of it? You go into a camp. It's not a question if the camp is legit. The question is, are you legit? You see, if you can't play, it don't matter what camp you go to, because you're not going to get the result because you can't play. If you're not willing to do the work, it doesn't matter what business you start because you ain't going to make no money. That's the bottom line. get every business makes money somehow, some way. If they've been around, somebody's making money. If they still around, money is being made somehow, some way. The question is, are you gonna make any of it? It has nothing to do with the company. The company's not in question. The camp is not in question. The platform is never the question. The question is the person that's involved in the platform. And human beings are different. So one human could do well, one human can fail. So the question you got to ask yourself is, am I willing to do what's necessary to get the result here? And once you answer that, then you have a clear picture of whether you should proceed or not. And if you can't answer that question, then you shouldn't proceed until you can answer that question. And figure it out quickly. So we talked about this, decision making. Successful people make decisions quickly. Unsuccessful people delay, think about it, wait, I don't know, and then they end up doing nothing. So just make sure you do anything other than nothing. Everybody follow my Snapchat at Dre Baldwin. That's where you'll be able to catch me the rest of the day. Maybe you'll catch me somewhere else in between there. Work on your game. Dre all day. Make sure you follow me on social media, Snapchat. You see it right there. The code's going to come up. Dre Baldwin. My Instagram is the same name, at Dre Baldwin. My Twitter and my Periscope, both at Dre all day. Y'all know my website, dreallday.com. Any business inquiries, hit me via email, dre@dreallday.com, or you can just send me a snap. Work on your game. Dre all day.